All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about the huge NFC North matchup that took place yesterday between the Lions and the Vikings. The Lions squeaking by and winning 31-29. It's an unbelievable game. Twists and turns came along with it. So let's get into that matchup. So obviously the Vikings were coming in one of the two undefeated teams that were remaining until they did end up losing. And the Lions only one loss on the year, and that was to the Buccaneers. And obviously there was no Aiden Hutchinson in this game. Suffered that gruesome leg injury last week against the Cowboys. And, they did miss him in this game. But the Lions were still able to pick up the win. And early on in the game, and the Vikings, look, they have beaten some good teams this year. They have. They are a good team. This loss does not discount them. I mean, it's going to knock them down in the power rankings. Spoiler alert for Wednesday's power rankings. But this Vikings team is still very good. The Lions are a very good team. And my friend just said it in our sports chat. The Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers, they might be the top three teams in the NFC. And they all come from the same division. And on top of that, you got the Bears, who are on a bye this week. They also have a winning record. That division is unbelievable. And those teams, all of them, could be in the postseason this year. But anyways, the Vikings did what they've been doing to teams. They were up 10-0. And you thought, this is not looking good for the Lions right now. Because the Lions, they got the ball first. They turned it over on downs. And then Aaron Jones scores a 34-yard touchdown. And there was nobody in sight. The defense went one way, he went the other. And, he scored a very easy touchdown. It was from 34 yards out. Because the Lions, they went for it. They tried doing a fake punt, and it just ended up not panning out. But you know what? That's something that Dan Campbell will get criticized for. And this is what got him in trouble in the NFC Championship game. Maybe being a little too aggressive. But they're going to continue to do that. So, like I said, Lions turned it over on downs. Vikings turned that into 7 points. 7-0 Vikings. Lions then punt on their next drive. So two very quick drives. Vikings then turned that into a field goal. 57-yard field goal. So, like I said, 10-0 Vikings. And you thought, here we go. Looks like the Vikings might dominate. And that was not the case. The Lions did put together a touchdown drive. 5 plays, 69 yards. An awesome touchdown run by Jahmyr Gibbs. Juking out a defender, 45 yards out, and that made it 10-7. And the Vikings have done a good job at stopping the run. But, going into this game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, it was going to be tough to stop that rushing attack. And David Montgomery actually did get hurt in this game. Didn't have a rushing touchdown for the first time this year. But, the Lions running game made plays when it had to. Vikings then punted, and then before you know it, the Lions on top. Jared Goff, who played very well once again, connected with AmonRaSt.Brown for a 35-yard touchdown, so that made it 14-10. Then Sam Darnold on the next drive, he gets intercepted trying to hit Jordan Addison, gets picked off by Brian Branch. Lions then turned that into a touchdown drive. 25-yard pass play to Sam Laporta in that drive, and Jahmyr Gibbs once again scores a rushing touchdown from 8 yards out. And the Lions were up 21-10 at the half, and then I thought, all right, well, looks like this game has swung in the favor of the Lions. But Vikings came out in the second half. 9 plays, 80 yards down the field. Darnold connected with Justin Jefferson for a 25-yard touchdown. So that made it 21-17. Lions then responded with a touchdown of their own. Goff connected with Khalif Raymond for a 21-yard score. So that made it 28-17. Vikings then kicked a field goal. So it was 28-20. Punt by the Lions in the fourth quarter. Vikings kicked another field goal that was set up by a 51-yard pass play to Jordan Addison. So, yeah, it was 28-23. Then the Lions ended up fumbling. David Montgomery fumbles. It's picked up. Vikings score. This is by pace from 36 yards out. So that made it 29-28. They did not get the 2-point conversion. Both teams then punted. Lions, they put together a good drive at the end of the game. From the Vikings' 26-yard line, Jake Bates, he kicks the go-ahead field goal, and the Lions end up winning 31-29. Vikings get the ball back, but there's just not enough time left for them to do anything with it. And Lions get a huge, huge win within their own division. And the Vikings, they were undefeated all this time, and they lose to the Lions, and now they're in second place. Jared Goff, another great game for him. He got those early season struggles out of the way, and I think we all knew that was going to happen. He was going to play better, and that's what's been happening lately. 22 of 25, 280 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in this game. Lions ran the ball for 144 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery, like I said, got banged up in the game. 9 carries for only 31 yards. AmonRaSt.Brown had a big game. 8 receptions on 8 targets for 112 yards and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 for 44. David Montgomery, 3 for 39. Khalif Raymond, 3 for 39 and a touchdown. Tim Patrick, 2 for 25. Sam Laporta, it's kind of been quiet this year. I mean, last year he had that touchdown reception, but he only has 224 yards on the season and a touchdown. His first touchdown of the season was last week. So he's been kind of quiet. Jameson Williams had a quiet game. Goff had actually 2 fumbles in the game, but didn't lose either. David Montgomery did lose that fumble. Like I said, Brian Branch had an interception. And the Lions defense did have 4 sacks. I'm curious to see if they try to add a pass rusher. But, yeah, they were able to pick up the win. For the Vikings, Sam Darnold, was good. 22-27, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick to Brian Branch. Aaron Jones was good, 14 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Darnold had 4 for 39. Justin Jefferson, a good game, 7 for 81 and a touchdown. Naylor, 4 for 76. Addison, 3 for 66. Hopefully they get Hawkinson back soon. Vikings defense did have 4 sacks on the day. And, yeah, Lions pick up a huge win. And like I said, they now overtake the Vikings for first place. But, yeah, I mean, just looking at the NFC North, you got 2 5-1 teams. The Packers are 5-2. They're a half game back. And then the Bears are 4-2. Division's unbelievable. And you look at the playoff picture, and right now, as it currently stands, you have all 4 NFC North teams in the playoffs. If the playoffs were to end today, the Eagles are a half game back. Falcons are 1 game back. Cowboys are 1.5 games back. Niners are 2 games back. I mean, it's unbelievable how good this division is. That's what we were expecting out of the AFC North, but that hasn't really been the case. Now, the Bengals are starting to put things together, so maybe at least 3 of the 4 teams, because I did have the Bengals and the Ravens making the playoffs. I did not have the Steelers making the playoffs, but yeah, that's how it currently stands. And this was a big win for them. I mean, again, there was no Aiden Hutchinson, and that was one of the things that myself and many others were going to be paying attention to, is how were the Lions going to do without. I got to fix my camera here. How are the Lions going to do without their main guy on defense? And they still were able to win the game. It wasn't easy. Like I said, the Vikings are a very good team. They're 5-0 for a reason. But the Lions are a very good team. The Lions are a very good team, and they proved that here. And I may not be perfect on some of my predictions from this year. The Commanders are one that I thought the defense was going to be bad. Oh, that was weird. Oh, never mind. I was like, oh, my camera did that Spider-Verse thing, and then it just was good after that. But anyways, the Commanders don't look good. The Jets' prediction doesn't look great. but I mean, I gotta tell you, my Super Bowl prediction right now looks good. Lions are playing really good, and the Chiefs are still undefeated. So, as long as that ends up being right, anything else that happens, it is what it is, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see more of these matchups between these NFC North teams. I mean, so far, we've had two of them, and both of them have included the Vikings. Both games have been unbelievable. Packers, Vikings, I mean, it was a tale of two halves, but that still ended up being a good game, and this game was a classic. And Jake Bates, from the UFL, kicking big field goals. And I thought, first, when he kicked that, because you had a Vikings player jump over the pile, I thought it was going to get blocked. Then he kicks it, and I see it looks like it's going to go wide left, and then it ends up curving back in, and they end up getting it, and they win the game. So, he had a good day as well. Lions are a really good team. And like I said, I'm curious to see what they do before the deadline. Maybe try to add a pass rusher. I know there were some rumors floating around about Max Crosby, but I don't think that's going to happen. If that happens, that would be unbelievable. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. There's got to be somebody they could add. Or maybe they just really believe in the guys that they have on the roster. And I mean, I love Dan Campbell as a head coach. I really do. And like I said, I hope he learns from his mistakes from last year during their playoff run. I want to see this team do it this year. Even though I said I had the Chiefs over them in the Super Bowl, love to see this team win the Super Bowl this year. Really would. It's hard to root against this team. It is. Because Dan Campbell, he really turned the culture around. Jared Goff, his story as well. I mean, the Rams, that trade ended up working out for both teams because the Lions are really good. Although Jared Goff wants to win a Super Bowl. And the Rams, they went all in and they won the Super Bowl with Stafford. So it ended up working out for both teams. I mean, and the Lions right now, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They are. And I would like to see this team do it this year. And I think they can. I think they can. Even without Aiden Hutchinson, I think it really does hurt their chances. But, they showed yesterday they could still win. They could still win in that's a tough place to play. And they were able to do it. They beat a very good team on the road. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think though about this game. What were your takeaways from it? Let me know in the comments. So, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Packers. We'll talk about their win over the Texans. So stick around once again, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.